It has been declared a major incident. The skies filled with great grey clouds of smoke after 3 large explosions at the Woodflower Mills in the small village of Bosley this morning. 4 people are missing, feared to be trapped somewhere in the burning building. Witnesses say the ground shook.
I turned around just to see like a fireball, and as I was here, the floor was actually shaking itself. The sound of the explosion was unreal.
Like the first cottages close to the mill had the windows blown out and one of the doors. I'm very concerned for everybody. I worked there for a long time. I know how dangerous the situation is, and they're just trying to contain it now.
The multiple fires caused by the explosions are still raging. The emergency services say there were many walking wounded. 4 people were taken to hospital by air ambulance, 1 with serious burns.
4 unaccounted people. We believe they are still somewhere in the building, and we will endeavour to deal with that issue in a few hours' time once we get the incident under full control.
What caused the explosions at the Woodflower Mill is now under investigation. The Cheshire Fire Service say crucially they are working to make the area safe to carry out any potential rescues of those still inside. Sangeeta Kandola, 5 News.
Hi guys, and welcome to Carly's Dark Corner. So guys, I am finally going to reveal what happened at Bosley Mill. So in 2015 there was a massive explosion. You can see how massive behind me. There's lost to nature doing his drone, but you can see behind me how huge this explosion was. In fact, if I pan you all the way around, that I'm guessing were the heaters, and there's a lorry, like a melted lorry in there. And in 2015 there was a massive explosion, thought to have been caused by all of the wood flour, very flammable flour. It's not like flour that you can eat. It's used in, like, I guess it's a byproduct of wood. And it would have been used, as you've probably seen in the earlier footage, it was used possibly in horse bedding, and it would have had other uses as well, but it was highly flammable. And what ended up happening was there was a massive explosion, and there were 4 people working on the upper floor of this building, and it was literally behind me. In fact, the silos that you can see there were 3 more, and then this big concrete structure. And Dorothy, Derek Moore, and Derek William Barks, and Jason Shingler, Dorothy Bailey, were all working on the upper floors when the explosion happened. And it was that much of a powerful explosion that in a mansion nearby here, not nearby but a fair distance, it actually flipped the car upside down. It blew the windows in, and just look at all this damage. Just look, this was a massive place, and that's how big the explosion was. And yeah, it's thought that they were working on the upper floors. So Dorothy Bailey, she was a cleaner, and by the sounds of it, she was a really lovely lady, really life of the party, his son said. And there's not a day goes by where he doesn't miss her. He's absolutely devastated, and obviously he would be, wouldn't he? Heartbroken, he's lost his mum. And then there was Derek William Barks. I think a lot of people called him Will Barks. And then there was another Derek Moore. They were in their 50s, I believe. Dorothy and Will were 62, and William Barks was 51. Derek Moore and Dorothy were 62. Sorry, there's a plane flying above. Were 62, 62. And Jason was only 38. And unfortunately, from what I've researched, Jason never left. They never recovered his body. 38 years of age. So basically on the upper floors There were 4 people working when the explosion went off, and there was Dorothy Bailey. She was 62 years of age, and she was a cleaner. There was Derek Moore, and he was also 62 years of age. He was a maintenance fitter. Then there was Derek William Bark, who often went by William Bark or Will Bark. He was also a maintenance fitter, and he was 51 years old. Then there was Jason Shingler, only 38 years old, and another, again, he was a maintenance fitter. Maintenance fitters, they just check to make sure the machinery's working, and that's what they would have done. They would have gone about their day, come to work like they normally would, go in the locker rooms like we've seen, put on their uniform. An average day, Dorothy would have had a cleaning equipment, possibly singing away. It sounds like she would have been that sort of personality, a very happy person, it sounds like, from what her son was saying. And then you've got the maintenance, the maintenance fitters. They would have been making sure that the machines are working, logging any faults with the machinery, doing any tests just to make sure everything's working okay. And they were on the upper floors, and obviously when the explosion went off, they sadly passed away. Now, Jason Shingler, who was only 38 years old, he never left. From what I found on Google, he never left. I could be wrong, there might be something updated. I did hear something about that there was someone who was trapped for 7 days, and then his body was found after 7 days. Apparently he was still alive, but I don't know. I haven't found anything on that. That's just what someone said, so I'm not too sure. According to Google, he never left. His body was never recovered. I would like to think, and I know it sounds horrible, but I would like to think that none of them suffered. That it was just quick. They didn't even realise it was happening. But it's very sad. It's devastating. And when you think of it as well, the manager, George Bowden, only had it was 18 months suspended sentence. So he was imprisoned for 9 months and fined. It wasn't a lot, guys. He wasn't fined a lot. I think it was £12,000. And even the son of Dorothy said that this was a joke. It was a joke, and it was a kick in the teeth after everything they'd been through. That's what happened at Bosley Mill, guys. So it's very sad. It's very heartbreaking, and definitely dark. You can't really say it's not, but also devastating. Very sad.